Chapter 15. Discuss Falling. George and Howard were managed through their houses until they found what they needed. There was no way they were going to show up at school looking like themselves again. That learns that lesson in our last book. George and Howard needed a disguise, and it needed to be convincing. When they arrived at school, George changed into his costume behind the bushes and climbed onto Howard's shoulders. Then they headed into the building. Normally, any stranger entering Jerome, Horace Elementary School would need to sign in at the office and go through a security screening. But George and Howard noticed that things at school were a little more relaxed today. Their first clue was that there were no adults in the office. At least it looked that way. Upon closer inspection, they discovered that the school secretary, Miss Anthrop, was sound asleep on the floor under her desk. Some third graders were giving her a foot massage, while the sixth grader AV club was answering the phone and filling papers. "That's weird," said George. As George and Howard walked down the hallway, things just got weirder and weirder. First, they noticed a brownish haze in the air. "I wonder what that brown fog is all about," said George. "I don't know," said Howard. "I can't smell a thing because of my coat." "Me neither," said George. As they roamed from room to room, they noticed that the other teachers were asleep too, and their students were doing all sorts of odd things for them. Some kids were giving the teachers massages, and others were shaving their teachers' beards, plucking their eyebrows, and giving them haircuts. The Methodists were filling out the teachers' test forms, while the shop kids were washing all the cars in the faculty parking lots. Finally, George and Howard reached the cafeteria, where several teachers were lying on the lunch tables getting Asian through massages and mani pedis at the same time. "Boy, things sure have gotten a lot better around this place since with old kid 2000 TM came along," said Miss Surrey. "I'll say," said Miss Guided. "I was happy enough when my students were finally able to sit still and pay attention all day. But when I found out that they followed my every comment with those questions, it changed my life." "Mine too," said Mr. Reddit. "I just sent my whole class over to my home. They are mowing my lawn, watering my garden, and painting my house as we speak." The three teachers all had a good laugh and drifted off into a relaxing, dreamy sleep. "Oh no!" cried George. "The teachers have turned all the kids into mindless servants." "We better get out of here before they turn us into servants too," said Howard. "Okay," said George with a wicked smile. "But first, let's have a little fun." Chapter 16. Happy Pranksgiving. "If all the kids in school are blindly following the orders of adults," said George, "then maybe they'll follow our orders too, since we're dressed like an adult." "That makes sense," said Howard. "Let's order everyone to stop following orders." "Nah," said George. We've already used that joke in this book. I've got a better idea. So George and Howard went around the school whispering new orders to all of the students. First, they whispered some new orders to the kids who were giving out free shaves and haircuts. Are you sure? Asked the children. Of course I'm sure, said George. I'm an authority figure. Very well, sir, said the children. Next, they whispered some new orders to the kids who were filling out test forms. Are you sure? Asked the children. I'm an adult, said George. Don't question me. All right, sir, said the children. Then they passed out permanent markers to another group of kids and whispered some new orders to them too. Are you sure? Asked the children. Absolutely, said George. I'm a grown-up. I don't make mistakes. As you wish, said the children. The rest of the afternoon continued in much the same way, with George and Howard dishing out new orders to every kid they came across. We better get out of here, said Howard. Those teachers are going to wake up pretty soon, and they're not going to be very happy. Okay, said George. We can do the last one on our way home. As they headed back to their treehouse, George and Howard stopped by Mr. Wagner's place. His whole yard was filled with children mowing the lawn, watering the flower garden, and painting the house. George whispered some new orders to them as well. Are you sure? Asked the children. Sure, we are sure, said George. Sure, I'm sure. Don't steal your blinks. Just follow orders. Chapter 17. Wiki Wiki Big Mistake. George and Howard walked back to their treehouse feeling pretty good about themselves. But things were not looking so good for the teachers at school, who were just waking up. Hey! Shouted Miss Anthrope. Somebody drew on my face with permanent markers while I was asleep. Mine too! Shouted Mr. Fitz. And they spray painted my rear end. Someone gave me a mohawk, cried Miss Whipple. Somebody shaved off my eyebrows and goofy glued them to my chin, growled Miss Surrey.